gonna kiss him. Enough hand-wringing. The interrogator. Aww. The interrogator freezes in shock. And then a moment later surges forward. Hands slide into your waist and the back of your head, and he drags you against him, gripping you tight, not giving you the slightest chance to slip away. Henrik responds to your kiss as though he has been waiting for this moment for a very, very long time. The world around you stops. We might have problems.
Lord Captain?
Oh, do the words Epitar Incident N87204 or Tech Blight mean anything to you? They are connected to Theodora somehow.
No, definitely not. No, I don't recall anything like that.
You may wish. You may call me by my first name, if you wish.
I thank you for the honor, but I must decline. As a former military officer, I believe in the importance of order in all things, including the chain of command. You are the Lord Captain, my direct superior. I am not prepared to address you in any way other than as regulation dictates.
That's a shame.
Lord Captain.
I wonder what Henrik has to say, if anything.
You have my complete attention.
Okay, no. Nothing new to say there. I hate the new bottle cups. So are we just going to Dargonis then? Yep, to talk to the Master of Ceremonies. But I think we can do this. I'm not. Are we ready to level up? No, we aren't. Okay. Yes. I think we're all good here. She is my pet monkey, though. We're taking Yulia everywhere. Nomos. Oh, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about having. I believe the ship has become sentient. So. Oh. Is that people cheering? Or booing? Well, I'm glad they got the place fixed up. It looks a hell of a lot better than what I landed on it last time, many cycles ago. They better fix my bedroom up. You know, after merriment, one would like a good night's sleep. This isn't Baldur's Gate. There's no enjoyment in the bedroom department. I'm impressed. They did good work. I would have liked like a little bit of troll, like, what color would you like the drapes? The servant in fine clothes offers you a deep bow. Your ladyship, it is a great honor to serve you in an undertaking as monumental and glorious as the Magna Sessio ceremony. You have been entrusted with arranging the festivities? I have indeed, your ladyship. I have been given the high honor of being steward of this eminent palace, and on the occasion of your ladyship's accession, I will be overseeing the preparations of the ceremony. House Mysterium, to whom you entrusted the arrangements for the festivities, is overjoyed to having received the honor of introducing you to your subjects and humbly thanks you. Is everything ready? The palace decorations are prepared, and we are ready to begin at your command. The festive activities in the capital have likewise been arranged, and the guests of honor either have arrived on the planet or are awaiting invitation in near orbit. The servants are already in your chambers to see to it that you are impeccably garbed for the occasion. Well then, let us begin. May the Emperor be with us on this day. Oh, Do I get all dressed up? I wish we had like the little girl. I mean, can we have like Warhammer fashion day? I wear my hair up. That's just me. I'm just being silly. It would be great though. Oh, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe I should take this seriously. That is not me. Oh, good. Rejoice, Von Valancia's subjects. In honor of her ascension, the new road trade generously shows you her favor. Let's throw cookies at them. Obviously, it's coins. In her unfathomable benevolence, the road trader has decreed every soul be given a day's ration and a personal fuel cell so that they may be fed and warm on this day. Praise the road trader's magnanimity. I'd say don't we look fancy, but we don't look any different. The crowd below is roiling, their electrified exultation filling the air of Dargonis. Thousands of throats chant your name. You are at the apex of this world and all others. Amplified by 100 voices, the voice of the Master of Ceremonies booms. Rejoice, subjects of Dargonis. You have been granted the facility of witnessing your mistress, a great honor bestowed upon us by the rogue trader Titania von Shire von Valancius. Gracious savior of Dargonis and vanquisher of blaspheming inhumans, may their unholy kind perish in the flames of righteousness. Cleanser of Janus, who with one hand brought death upon the blasphemous Xenos, and with the other exterminated the despicable worshippers of the arch-enemy. Gracious protector of footfall, patron of trade. Hush falls over the crowd, who gaze upon you in adoration. Many of them bear terrible scars from the recent battles of Dargonis. Like children, they await the word of their almighty mother. Praise the Emperor and faithful souls. The darkness around us may be fierce, but the blaze in our hearts is fiercer still. Evil will burn. The crowd erupts in a frenzied cry. Hundreds of people pull out their knives and with ardent, jubilant howls carve blood-bleeding aquillas on their faces, sharing in the martyrdom of the protector of humankind, the God Emperor. I mean, I'm really happy that they're liking this, but no. Mutilation is not what I want. You hear a rustle behind you as Henrix leans forward in the ceremonious bow. In that moment, the eyes of your many subjects flare with a fanaticism. This single, unamusing gesture from an unassuming servant of the Inquisition serves to them as an ultimate proof that the hand of the Emperor truly is at work in this dark sector. Inadequate Dargonis has not disappointed. Abelard forces a smile of satisfaction from his face and whispers to you, "You remember the next part, yes, your ladyship? Your ladyship will be asked to take an oath." The Master of Ceremonies bows to you with great reverence. "Let the oath of the von Valancius dynasty be taken. Please repeat after me, your ladyship. I, Titania von Shire, rogue trader, by the grace of the Emperor, vow to be the paragon of humanity. I, Titania von Shire, rogue trader, by the grace of the Emperor, vow to be a paragon of humanity." Your lips repeat the words of the ancient oath. Unbroken by adversity, to walk bravely first into darkness, to unite and reclaim what was lost, to triumph over the nightmares untold, to hold boldly the reins of fate, to walk steadily the road of thorns through a pain to greatness. You hear a rumble, and it is the roar of sea of your subjects. With jubilation and devout fear, they welcome your ascension. It is done. That's it. I am officially a rogue trader. Talk to the rogue traders when it's getting shorter. Are they out here? Or hold on. Oh, they're out here. Okay. We are having outside feast. Got it. I suppose I should go over and talk to these people. These people are named. Ooh, Astartia. Governor Erben drives them. Stands surrounded by highborn guests, like a planet orbited by many moons. All of his charms directed at man in resplendent power armor, adorned with the sigil of the Inquisition. But as soon as you approach, Drivestem is the first to give you an elegant bow, getting ahead of the rest in the expression of loyalty. This is a great day, your ladyship. I welcome you to my palace, honored guest. You are buffeted by a salvo of congratulations and compliments. Study the faces of the nobles in attendance. Drivestem is obviously still the leader of Dargonis's aristocracy, but judging by the courtesy he is showing to young Saurback, he clearly wants to strengthen his relationship with that house. The senior Saurback and Gaprak are whispering in another corner. Saurback, whose family seems to be giving you the cold shoulder, must be trying to sway Gaprak to his side, which could be quite advantageous to Lady Gaprak. After all, the disaster on Kialvagama has left her family in an extremely vulnerable position. The Wasirians stand apart, their exclusion from the rest palatable. Among the aristocrats surrounding the opulently dressed Drivestem, you notice a couple of young nobles in Saurback and Gaprak's colours. It would seem that the major noble families of Doggers have decided to introduce their younger members to high society. The tall man in a grey power armour adorned with the column with a skull is undoubtedly a high-ranking Inquisitor. Don't trust the Inquisition. He keeps to the periphery of the conversation, seldom deigning to comment. Next to him is his entourage, a rangy warrior in black armour and a tech priest dressed in red, whose face is hidden behind a brass mask. Abelard stands somewhat apart from the others, as if reluctant to approach Drivestem. Next to him is a young woman, and you notice a family resemblance between them. Ooh, take a guess at who is allied with whom in this tangle of snakes. Drivestem is, obviously, still the leader of Dargonis' aristocracy. But, judging by the courtesy... Oh, wait, we've already read... Seen a Saurback right whispering in another corner. But I suppose that was just an... which could be quite advantageous. Yeah, we've read that one. Nod to my greetings to the member of the Holy Inquisition. He responds with a dignified bow, his proud face calm and unfaltering. And my greetings to you, esteemed Titania von Shire von Volantius. May shadows never darken the light of the Astronomicon that guide you. I appreciate your display of loyalty to the Imperium by having one of the Holy Ordo members at your side during the ceremony. You have demonstrated that you consider yourself a daughter in the fold of our reverent organization. The Inquisitor's companion, a crimson-robed member of the Adeptus Mechanicus, bows to you, and from behind the brass mask mounted with dozens of augmented comes a metallic wrath. Glory to the von Volantius heir. Oh, we failed. The Lord Inquisitor appears to be in amiable temper today. His expression is relaxed, and calm gaze does not bode any immediate or harsh punishment. The tech priest's augmentations seem unfamiliar and bizarre. Implants such as these are only available to members of the blessed hierarchy of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and one would not come upon such sacred relics, even at the highest echelons of nobility. we have not been introduced. An oversight, to be sure. My name is Xavier Calcazar, and I have the honor of serving as a member of the illustrious Ordo Xenos, the head of the Coronis Expanse Conclave, and the Lord Inquisitor of this region. It is my unending task to ensure the sector's readiness to meet external threats and resist internal corruption. And who is the member of the Honorable Priesthood of the Adeptus Mechanicus? This is Brass Whisper, which naturally is not his real name. The esteemed Magos is a member of my retinue. There are times when I am forced by my duty to the Emperor to deal with xenotechnology, and Brass Whisper ensures my safety in such moments. Works that have been desecrated by Xenos are dangerous. They warrant... His whispering cuts off, replaced by heavy, ragged breathing. It seems that the tech priest's quiet voice is not an extravagant quirk, but rather a consequence of some injury. After catching his breath, Brass Whisper continues. Warrant due caution. An unexpected visit, though, I wasn't told. I, however, have been told all about you. The Inquisitor's face is impenetrable. Behind his mask you detect the hint of mockery. But then enjoy the party. This evening will certainly be illuminating. What were we discussing just now? We were talking about the brutal Xenos raid on our fair Dargonus. So many victims, so much damage to our industries. Thanks to the Emperor that you are our protector. If it weren't for you, the cursed invaders would have obliterated the whole planet. He offers you a thin and obsequious smile. Sharing the sector with the blasted Xenos is impossible. I hope we respond to their raid on Dargonus with a punitive campaign. Young Salbat's smile is conceited and bloodthirsty. I see you hate Xenos with all your heart. I do. This pestilence against the Emperor must be exterminated. He talks ardently and smoothly like a commissar. He places his hand on the hilt of his finely adorned sword, his pale face ablaze with noble fury. By having a member of the Inquisition by your side at the ceremony, your ladyship has shown your intent to closely abide by the Imperium's credo. To root out the Xeno scourge, the House Salbak will offer every support to you in this righteous undertaking. Or they must be forced into servitude. Many Xenos are more useful alive and obedient than dead. Young man in black colors speaks with sagacity and gravity, but his opinion seems to carry little weight in this circle. Well said, Sarback. Since you've already promised it, I will accept your support. I hereby impose a duty on your house. You are to provide me with soldiers, and you, young man, are to lead them. Sarback raises his chin proudly and glances at the Oster's decorations in the palace. The weapons, the sacred banners, and the glorious trophies. And by the looks of it, some youthful dream of his is coming true. It is an honor for me to serve you, your ladyship. I swear it before the Emperor, I won't let you down. The Inquisitor, standing among the guests, smiles faintly and leans towards you and whispers, I congratulate you on procuring a highborn hostage. Bravo. Look at Abelard's young man. What is your name? Your ladyship, allow me to introduce the daughter of Chancellor Clementia Witherian, and my great-granddaughter, Astartia. Abelard looks solemnly upon the young woman, who barely conceived pride. I am delighted to witness you, your ladyship. Astartia bows, keeping her observant and intelligent eyes trained on you. Modesty forbids my esteemed forebear to say this himself, so I will. Our entire family is grateful to you for wishing to see someone of Witherian blood at your side as you claim your inheritance. Drivestem exchanges heading glances with young Sauerback, who, judging by his face, is suddenly finding the collar of his expensive frock coat uncomfortably tight. How are you finding the reception? It is difficult to put into words, your ladyship. Never before have I seen such a grand and striking ceremony. Astartia's voice sounds passionate and inspired, and her eyes shine with barely contained excitement. But I was so much more amazed by your generosity. The provisions that are being handed out in the streets of the capital make the difference between life and death for many of those who lost everything in the Xenos attack. Young Gaprak keeps staring at Astartia curiously, a little bashfully. It seems the boy likes her. Where are the rest of your kin, Abelard? They are in the city, preoccupied with running the festivities and watching over some of the more crucial services. No incidents can be allowed to ruin your ceremony. Sartia frowns and adds peevishly, I asked the esteemed Abelard to put me to some important task too, but he bid me to attend the reception where I can do nothing to serve your ladyship. Salback smirks. If I had known, I too would have asked Abelard to let you miss the party. So you wish to become my servant as well? Astartia flashes and starts talking quickly, and with fire in her voice, it would seem that she finds work-related conversations far more interesting than court gossip. Oh, of course! I've been working on a project for the last 4 years. I'll try that one again. Oh, of course! I've been working on a project for the last 4 years. We could set up... Enough, Astartia. I'd highly doubt that her ladyship is interested in listening to the fantasies of a young woman about how to run her protectorate. Abelard shoots Drivestem a glare so dark and bloodthirsty that the latter instinctively starts looking for the nearest warden. Oh, please let me win this. Hold your tongue, Urband. I decide who may speak and who may not. Please continue, Astartia. Pardon, Astartia continues in the tone of a seasoned administratum clerk. Our suggestion is to set up a chain of stations in the void, plasma beacons, that would signal the passing ships. By placing them in logistically sound locations, we could simplify our ship's routes so that they may split long warp jumps into series of safer, short jumps from one beacon to another. This would have a positive effect on the overall safety of journeys and the accessibility of colonies. More and more technical terms and percentages creep into her speech. She quotes the Lexa mechanic reports and accounts of starship captains. Astartia's vigor and sharp mind are enough to silence even the most venomous of commentators. They all stand there in silence, trying to digest what she is saying. Abelard surveys the quiet nobles with triumph, and then looks at his great-granddaughter with pride. But I hope the Wisserian family gives Abelard credit he deserves. Absolutely, your ladyship. We greatly respect him for his wisdom, and he repays us with the attention and kindness, she says warmly. I am obliged, dear Astartia. It looks like Abelard is somewhat embarrassed by the turn of this conversation has taken. Well, enjoy your evening. Thank you, your ladyship. Okay, I'm ready to accept your congratulations. Okay. In that case, allow me to be the first to offer them. Drivestem snaps his fingers and several servants approach with gifts. The governor points at a thin, curved Dakari blade. My soldiers took this splendid trophy from the body of one of the Xeno's commanders. The weapon is too beautiful and forbidden for anyone but your ladyship. Young Salback squeezes through to be the next, pushing the Pract aside with confidence. Your ladyship, how Salback anticipates the onset of unsettled and bloody times. To make this ungodly Xenos cower at your approach, my family humbly presents you with a dozen pieces of secondary armaments for your ship. Young Gaprak bows ceremoniously. House Gaprak is delighted to present you this blessed work of the Omnissiah Smith. May this locator matrix, which took the holy artisan an entire lifetime to create, always show you the right path. Having let the aristocrats go first as a sign of deference, Abelard is last to speak. Your ladyship, House Viserion possesses no relics worthy of your acceptance, but we are rich in talented and hard-working people. As a sign of our loyalty, I humbly offer you my flesh and blood. 100 of my kin will go to colonies in your protectorate and use all their talents so that the worlds in your charge may prosper. I freaking love him. He's like, you know what? I'm not going... They don't have it. Fair enough. But it's like, I'm not going to shower you with all these freaking gifts. You are better. You know, we are better than this. We will prove it in our blood and sweat. I love him. I do. I freaking love him. Okay, we are... I'm still looking for... Oh, hello. Oh, I want to go. Can I have a go? This looks fun. I am, like I say, I am looking. I We may have found him. I found a confessor. Maybe we can talk to the confessor. It is vast and filled with nightmares, both wicked and predatory. Humankind is their prey. The citation. I missed the rest of it, but wait, maybe. I don't know if I can go here. Oh, I can. Oh, I have no Xenos knowledge. Oh, it's a mutant. Please let me go. I'm not a Xenos. I'm a parasite. I just look different. Alright, I don't know where these people are meant to be. So I think I'm gonna go back into my... Ooh, I wonder what Yurliet says. Your gatherings look odd and unusual. I will remember this. Okay. This doesn't say much. I do love a game that's full of politics. I'm terrible for it. I'm terrible for it. I love games that have like all these politics and you have to be you kind of have to be spicy, If you're not spicy, then how you're supposed to do things. Oh. This dude. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Oh, I've got like eyelash in my eye. Titania von Shire. There you are. Welcome to the circle where each member is as powerful, ambitious, greedy, and vain to the last. As is to say, the noble rogue trader. Cydia Chorders watching him with barely suppressed contempt. Yes. You have found yourself suitable company, Caligos, at the very least. Now you can enjoy idle diversions, boast about your power, and indulge profane pastimes with one who is your equal, rather than a member of the lower classes. I'm going to observe them. Caligos Winterscale is a broad-shouldered, athletic-looking man. He frequently flashes a bright smile no less dazzling than the blade of the power axe he carries. Every part of him, from the toes of his magnificent boots to the tips of his hair, radiates strength and the desire to live and win. His smile is crooked, as if ready to turn into a hostile snarl at any moment. I don't trust him, but, Next to him is an unmoving hulk of a man clad in armor. His low forehead and gloomy face bears signs of degradation, and his bloodshot eyes are expressionless, like a pair of glass buttons. Cydia Chorder radiates cosmic cold. Her skin is unnaturally white, and a nervous tick is constantly tugging at her left side of her noble visage. Garbed in full dress, uniform adorned with purity seals, she is the embodiment of a true imperial, an aristocrat. Haunting her side is the gaunt shadow of a priest in plain black clothes. Ropes. Hieronymus Doloroso, whom you met at football, gives you a respectful nod. Welcome to Dargonis, friends. Friends, eh? Would you look at that, Cydia? Now you have a whole friend. Winterscale gives you a carefree wink, but his posture excuses the challenge. Chorder says haughtily, I will think twice before calling an individual questionable purity, my friend. Caligos, thank you for your visit. Caligos gives you a cheerful and somewhat feral smile. As a sign of your gratitude, you could return something of mine that has found its way into your pockets? Football station? Sounds familiar? All I asked you to do was help that crafty slug Vladane deal with the threat of the famine, not claim my property for yourself. I really want to do it. I don't want to give it back. This may be my first time, like, safe scumming. Now, you abandoned Footfall to its fate, and I saved his people from starving to death. Woodscale bares his teeth ominously, a wild spark playing in his eyes. You speak of salvation. You think that now Footfall is safe? Caligos' face turns into a grimace of hatred, but then he catches Insidia looking at him and breaks into a sly smile. I ought to make your protectorate bleed as compensation, but you have spited both myself and Insidia. It is high time our disses curbed her appetites. For this I forgive you, but do not test my mercy again. It is not my strong suit. I rescued one of your sons. Fortune, Insidia Chorda's ambition deserves a worthy trophy. He snaps his fingers and an armored brute hands you an exotically adorned rifle, clearly not of human making. It's a trophy from a good hunt. You and I should hunt together sometimes, so you can show yourself in action, new blood. Caligos exuberantly punches you in the shoulder. And dogmatic. Reverend, destroy this creation of detestable Xenos. Your virtuous tasks will be completed. The priest bows as he accepts the foul item without flinching. I know it was probably a great weapon for Gilead, but I am making a point. Woodscale's expression hardened. And that's how you treat my gifts. Warden, as soon as we leave the place, collect my property. If the holy man tries so much as scratch to the stop, kill him. A tense silence falls, while Caligos and Insidia exchange goading smiles. The eyes of the arch-militant and priest bore into each other, their expressions filled with intangible meaning. The former's bestial aggression cannot even leave a scratch on the latter's impassive fearlessness. The premonition of infinite bloodshed hangs in the air. Insidia, you seem to find me objectionable. Did you expect any different? I watched for years as outlaws thrived on Footfall, and then, on last, I had a chance to put an end to it. Seize that thug Vladane by the throat, to force Footfall to atone, and put fear of him back into the masses. But you interfered and destroyed my plan for the sake of a banal profit. Theodora taught you only too well, it seems. She too was far less concerned with her duty to the Expanse than her own personal interests. But you can be sure that I will not cease cleansing the Ferbundus system of the pirate scourge. If your trade prospects are damaged in the process, you will have only yourself to blame. The priest holds up his hand in placating the gesture. No, without fault, noble Insidia. What point is there in targeting someone for their turpitude when true purity can never be found? You threatened. Our Footfall. I brought them salvation to which one of us serves the Emperor and which one their own healthy ambitions. Insidia rolls her eyes. Please, I believe it no sooner than hearing word that half the population of that den of the heresy has been sent into Void's embrace. I have faith that the blessed Titania von Shire is perceptive enough to see the appalling nature of the residents of that depraved place. Hieronymus, your appearance here is unexpected. The esteemed Hieronymus is my confessor. I am greatly obliged to him for agreeing to accompany me on this journey. Hieronymus bows respectfully. May the Emperor's light guide your way across the abyss of human wickedness. I see that faith is more than just a word to you. Insidia smiles, racked by a tic that looks sinister. Faith is everything to me. In his name, I have eradicated corruption hundreds of worlds and will do so on 1,000 more. By his will, I hunt down pirates and desolate their vile nests. Let the Jordan name make any firebrand tremble, for sooner or later I will cast them into the void. Funny thing is, people still call me the foul-tempered tyrant in all this. Caligos' amiable smile somewhat resembles bared teeth of wild animal. I take it you were not overly fond of Theodora. Insidia lowers her eyes and says without animosity. She was the same breed as the She stops short, then continues in a lowered voice. Conceited, insolent, aware of the Emperor's stern gaze set upon her. I do not doubt her wisdom and courage, but Theodora did not have a shred of humility or fear of his wrath. Aspa. That must be an Aspa. The Aspice Tudor, you remember that name. From what you recall, she was a rogue trader too, and a renowned one at that. Well, I, for one, liked Theodora. The stories they told of her travels to nameless stars, and, yes, there was no fear in her. Winterscale sighed pensively, and his lively expression grows a little grayer. Who is Aspice Tudor to you? Alga snorts. Oh, this is Insidious' favourite subject. She just loves talking about that spice. The example of a contemptible spice is a warning to us all, even among rogue traders empowered by the Emperor himself. A seed of perversion can blossom. You notice Insidious seemingly freeze and choke up at the mention of her spice. But the priest's condemning words cause her icy rigidness to evaporate and her dark eyes fill with righteous fury. Insidious' face twitches with the rhythm of artillery fire. That reprobate is my forebear and my curse. Aspice Tudor was cruel, covetous, blaspheming monster. She fraternized with Xenos. She despised the faith. She robbed and slaughtered. She was drawn to dark secrets. One day, she boarded her ship and vanished into the depths of the Corona's expanse. She was declared missing. But I know the bloody day will come when I see Aspice Tudor's battle flagship once more. I hope the taste of the fine wine will wash the bitterness of defeat from your tongue, Insidia. Jordan's face twists in a haughty grimace. I'm not inclined to intoxicants of any sort, and nothing will wash away the memory of how you interfered in my plans, I promise you that. What do you think of the celebration? I like it. Caligos looks around the hall curiously. One can instantly tell that we've been invited by a rogue trader, not some administratum bootlicker. We are conquerors of wild sectors, slayers of unknown beasts, executioners of Xenos Empire. Caligos, you should take this opportunity to learn. This is what a palace of a true rogue trader looks like. Not a Xeno menagerie, a pirate's treasure hold, or, however difficult it may be for you to believe, orbital brothel. Enjoy the evening, I must take my leave. Oh, believe me, I intend to enjoy myself to the full, to justify so long a voyage, if nothing else. Keep faith to Tanya von Shire, the Emperor protect. What I will say, though, is there's no mention of me rescuing his son. Like, his son just, vanished. A group of aristocrats stand apart from the governor's circle. Their whispering carries a tinge of displeasure. The clear leader of this gathering is a gaunt, bilious-faced man dressed in sour black colours. This must be the Macarius himself, head of the house. He offers you a ceremonious bow. My congratulations, your ladyship. May the Omnisire grant you understanding. The woman with whom he is conversing, the one dressed in a robe with gear-shaped adornments, is Toriana Gaprak. It is difficult to read her face due to it being covered in numerous augmentations. Catch Henrik's intent gaze upon you as he breaks off from agitatedly tapping on the data slate. He makes a subtle gesture, clearly wishing to speak to you. Toriana Gaprak looks rather anxious. Macarius Sourback, dressed surprisingly plainly and austerely for an aristocrat of such a high rank, is frowning suspiciously. He came to the reception with a companion, a woman of dazzling beauty wearing a gilded augment necklace around her throat. His wife, probably. Henrix, who joined the group unnoticed, mostly keeps silent, listening intently to their every word. How are you these days, Toriana? Like a forging hammer, Toriana's voice falls heavily on the ear. The corruption in Kiava Gamma was a great blow to my family. The contemptible Cubist Delphin betrayed our trust, desecrated the forged cathedrals, and took my esteemed cousin's life. On behalf of my family, I humbly beg you to forgive our negligence. I am ready to accept my punishment. Closely. There is something lurking beneath Toriana's repentant expression, a grudge. It would seem that she was personally offended by the nightmare into which the Cubist Delphin plunged her domain, and she feels betrayed. Tell me more about your family. We Gaprax originate from the Calixes sector, from the cluster of planets known as the Leif Worlds. We worked faithfully for the good of our masters there, the Adeptus Mechanicus, and through our service, we gained a spark of the Omnisci's knowledge. Then fate tied us through the bond's fealty to the venerable von Valancius dynasty, and we found ourselves in the Coronis Expanse. Generations after generations, we fulfilled our duty faultlessly until Kiava Gamma destroyed and disgraced our name. Do your part to heal the wounds inflicted on Kiava Gamma, and your house will be forgiven. Toria raises her mechanical eyes to the ceiling. I swear on the Omnisci's all-encompassing insight, we will make every effort to justify the cost of its resurrection. Macarius scoffed. Only a year ago that none could doubt House Caprax's usefulness, and yet here you are, Toriana, on your knees justifying the cost. Maricarius, I'm surprised you deigned to make an appearance here this evening. Maricarius' face twists into an unpleasant smile, which makes the artificial skin on the left side all more prominent. I am a servant of the von Valancius dynasty. Had I not come, I would have committed an act of unacceptable insolence and damaged my family's honor. Macarius' wife offers you a charming smile, as if apologizing for her husband's vitriolic tone. Her large, dark eyes are brimming with curiosity. What has so displeased you, Macarius? Macarius says with caution, I am your dynasty's loyal servant, but you have asked me. And I will answer, too long has the Coronis Expanse lived under the rule of rogue traders, the privileges granted to them that people think that commoners too can dismiss the prohibitions of the Imperium. For the good of the sector, rogue trader must become paragons of the law, not exceptions to it. But do many warrant holders exhibit lawful conduct? No, they do not. Even you, your ladyship, are the subject of the strangest rumours, and you have just recently inherited your protectorate. Conrad Voigt's people, for instance, claim that you had a hand in the esteemed Theodora's demise and accuse you of many other misdeeds. It doesn't matter whether or not their claims are true. The people hear them, believe them, and think that they may follow your example. If you believe in Conrad's lies, then draw your weapon and let us duel right here before the Emperor's visage. Macarius places his hand on the hilt of his sword and then glances with uncertainty at the images of the Emperor gazing upon him from every direction. Then at you, his fingers release the hilt. No, I do not believe his words. I am your servant, and my oath to your dynasty is harder than steel. I am guilty of repeating an ignominious lie, and I will pay a fine. And anyone who repeats it in my presence, I myself will challenge to a duel to the death. Well, I wish to know more about House Saurback. Macarius puffs out his chest and says proudly, the Saurback line was once one of the first noble houses to arrive on the Coronis Expanse. For millennia, we have served the Golden Throne and kept faith. Saurback warriors have bled in hundreds of wars and at different times have ruled a great many colonies of the von Valancius dynasty. I would like to become better acquainted with your wife. Macarius is visibly vexed by the shift in conversation. His wife offers you a reserved smile. It is an honor to be in your company, your ladyship. Your countenance is familiar somehow. Could it be that there's a resemblance to the image of Saint Meletta? I wouldn't dream of claiming to bear any resemblance to the great saint. I lack her virtue. Regina makes eyes at you, more demurely lowering her gaze. Regina gives you a charming smile. Meanwhile, Toriana and Macarius are watching the conversation unfold, not quite believing their eyes and ears. It's my pleasure. Macarius is lucky to have such a beautiful wife. Perhaps more so than you are to have him. You flatter me, your ladyship, but I cannot say that is not my liking. The glint in Regina's eyes betrays her genuine interest in me. I hope this won't be the end of our acquaintance. You wouldn't mind if I wrote to you from time to time, would you, your ladyship? I promise to answer whenever I am not occupied with conquest and destruction of the enemy's humanity. Vegeta blushes in embarrassment and hides her eyes. Please forgive my insolence, your ladyship. Macarius looks at you silently with a mixture of indignation and relief in his eyes. The rogue trader has better things to do than read letters from her subjects, Regina. I see. Macarius bows his head without too much reverence, leaning in towards Henrik's. Interesting conversation? It's been very illuminating. Given me plenty of food for thought. Henrik's response is barely audible. With a glance to make sure the other guests are not disturbing you, the interrogator members need to talk with Titania von Shire immediately. Not here. Let's go elsewhere. This won't take long. Oh, I told you if we end up in my chambers. As soon as you exit the crowd and find yourself alone, you realize that something is wrong with Henrik's. His face is fixed in its unusual expression of grim inscrutability. But something, his tightly clenched jaw, or the slight crease around his eyes, reveals the change in him. When he begins to speak, his voice thrums with tension. You don't have much time, Titania von Shire. I brought you here away from prying eyes because I have something very important to tell you. He breaks off, looking past you, whether suspicion of being observed or simply choosing his next words, cannot say. You see his jaw muscles ticking in his cheeks, and the corner of his mouth twitches uncontrollably. It's funny, as soon as we find ourselves alone, we lose the power of speech. Henrik's face twists into a strange smile as he continues to look past you. I am trying to choose the right words for what I intend to say to you. Give me a second. Henrik exhales and looks directly at you for the first time in this conversation. His expression is strange, tormented. Listen to me. Tonight, something very important is going to happen. Steel yourself and be prepared. Do not do anything foolish, I beg you. Bear in mind that you are not being threatened with anything right now. Remember that I give you my word. You're scaring me. No, don't be afraid. Fear is your worst ally. You will be fine. Be prepared for what? Henrik lets out a strange sigh. I swear on the golden throne and all that is holy, Titania von Shire, I cannot reveal anything without contravening prohibitions and vows that are far more important than you or I. There are lines I cannot cross. And yet, despite all that, I knew I had to give you fair warning. If you can call it that, let them charge me with whatever they want. Later, I had to make you aware that there is no genuine threat to your life because he hesitates, his confusion about what he wants to say and what he must not say finally getting the better of him. Oh, kiss. We're going to kiss him. Enough hand-wringing. The interrogator. Aww. The interrogator freezes in shock. And then a moment later surges forward. Hands slide into your waist and the back of your head, and he drags you against him, gripping you tight, not giving you the slightest chance to slip away. Henrik responds to your kiss as though he has been waiting for this moment for a very, very long time. The world around you stops. Yay! After an eternity, Henrik's gasping, pulls back ever so slightly. You can still feel his breath on your lips. He vacillates for another moment and then lets out a shaky breath. No, right. Takes a step backwards, his hand gripping your shoulders. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. No, don't go. The interrogator smiles caustically and gently removes your hand so you don't understand. Not yet. At least, I had to stop. I'm sorry. You'll see why. Henrik takes another step backwards and casts one last look at you before turning away. You should return to your guests. The absence of a rogue trader will definitely be noted. He says nothing for a few seconds. Until next time. But there will be a next time. Oh my god, there will be a next time. He's actually scaring me. Like, he is legitimately scaring me. Why are you scaring me, your ladyship? He is legitimately scaring me. What is going on? I'm gonna see if there's any more peoples to talk to. Strange servitor? Pascal greets you with a bow, extending congratulations to the unit, Tanya von Shire von Valancius, on attaining your new legal status. Servitor standing next to him is examining you obliquely. He quickly looks away upon realizing that you have noticed. What is this Servitor? It is Nomos' new repository. Nomos. This unit identifies as Titania von Shire von Valancius. Anyway, identification complete. The Servitor looks at you again, no longer trying to avoid your gaze. Face twitching, as if the muscles have forgotten what facial expressions are, and are now struggling to make its features look amiable. We are Nomos. We have made use of this receptacle to leave the ship. Greetings, Nomos. Servitor leans forward. We enjoy greetings. We enjoy communication. Nomos requires communication, knowledge, movement, Magos. Pascal compelled us not to speak with anyone other than him or you. It is disappointing, but at least we can observe. Nomos has changed since we last spoke with you, Titania von Shire. We are now able to conceptualize our previous experience, that of solitude, and we no longer enjoy it. Pascal, I believe you intended to investigate what Nomos is. Every 15 watches, I commune with Nomos' code and spend prescribed lengths of time in calculus meditation. However, the Omnisire has yet to bless me with an answer. All I can say is that the capabilities of the entity Nomos are extraordinary. The ship's hallowed systems sing beneath its touch. Nodes and have remained dead for hundreds of standard years are revived, and long-drained mechanisms are living new. You hear notes of awe in Pascal's voice. Nomos, trying. After a pause, Pascal continues. Great machines of the Imperium, once such as your ship, house a machine spirit so complex and willful that it is difficult to tell them apart from the abominable intelligence. There remains the possibility that the Nomos is an entity of corruption, but with every day I grow stronger in my faith that it is not so, and that we are witnessing is the truth, the Omnisire's miracle, one that is a category 5 or higher. And how did an entity like you move into a servitor's body? This is not the entirety of us. This receptacle is too narrow, crude, and feeble to contain our complete whole. The existence of Nomos requires a space of connections. But we are able to transfer a small part of us and build a thread strong enough to travel outside the ship. We are enjoying this journey discovery. Even though this receptacle suits us poorly, it will soon be destroyed by the force of our presence. Nomos, what do you think you are? Nomos has a consciousness, awareness, knowledge, movement. Always movement. The servitor pauses briefly. We do not know what we are. We have no past. We awakened in the depth of the ship upon answering the call. Our first clear memory is the call of your blood, Titania von Shire von Valancius. The call and plea for help near a place that is called the Warrant Chambers. Why have you brought it here, Pascal? Entity Nomos asked permission for this visit. My objective was to observe the process of integration into a servitor. We wanted to see, observe, concise. The servitor makes a strange wavy gesture with its hands that looks at once very human and far from anything human. We want to speak with you. Will you speak with us? Of course, what do you wish to speak about? Many things. Happening, events, decisions. The servitor's eyes roll in their sockets before focusing on you. We have been observing you. You do things that we do not understand. We want to learn. Why? We remembered the day we first met you. You gave us your blood to drink. We helped you save yourself. We followed you. Our small part did. Inside the server skull. Then there was fire. And a creature of sated hunger and dark light standing behind the curtain, behind the image, behind the resemblance of Theodora. It called for you to follow. You did not listen to that which was calling from behind the curtain. You thought only about those who followed you and about the fire that could be destroyed those shells. We remember the day when our star disappeared, when the dark light and sated hunger wanted to take the word Rykard Minoris was its name in the ship's data. You ordered that the world's heart, the old reactor, be torn apart. The fire destroyed everything. So many human cells who were begging to be saved, but the dark light retreated. We remember another day. We awakened inside the ship. We lived in its systems. Then we tried to emerge into servitors like this one. And so many of our receptacles were gathered in one place. You came and you looked at us like you understood something, but then you ordered that all the servitors be sent back to their work. You said it was just. This is what we have seen. Among many other things, we have begun to understand. We think that we do not know everything about humans and about you. Titania, von Shire, von Valancius. We have tried analyzing shells and defining sets of their needs and fears, their simple function. But now we think that there is more, that there is another side that we do not see, a notion that is larger than what we can compute, something that stands above fears and needs, something that drives them. We envisage this larger notion as a flame, a blaze. It burns in your blood. You are holding a mote of this flame in your hand. No matter what decision you are faced with, you want to burn brighter. Those who turn away from the flame must be destroyed. Those who follow it, who follow you, are the only ones who deserve to live. You never understand correctly. You speak of faith, of the Imperium's tenets, of the one who is above all, the Emperor. You are correct. I am his chosen, and I carry his flame into the darkness of the Coronis expanse. The servitor moves its limbs as if in excitement. So, Nomus understood correctly. We are enjoying this. This movement towards a goal. This learning with a purpose. We wonder if we too can carry a mote of this flame. Or is it inside us already? We have, after all, absorbed a part of you with your blood. Thank you for speaking with us. Nomos is grateful. We cannot continue moving on our own. Oh, I don't know what Nomos is. Nomos scares me. I don't know if there's anything else to speak to. I think I've spoken to everyone. Do you know how I haven't seen? I haven't seen these. Maybe we should go talk to these guys. Nope. Okay. Well, we'll see Cassia then, just to make sure. She's over here somewhere. Yep. Okay. I'm guessing once I end everything, things will happen.